So family, welcome back. It's Saturday. What did we eat this week? Hello family, welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. I am Vicki and you're with Grammy in the Kitchen. Today is Saturday, always dedicated to what we eat in a week. The first meal we're going to make this week is going to be turkey noodle soup and grilled cheese. I was going to make two different soups because we have some home canned bean and bacon and home canned tomato soup. The husband likes the bean and bacon. I like the tomato soup. When it came down to actually cooking dinner, we changed our mind. We're going to use some of our home canned turkey soup starter. This has turkey broth, and vegetables. We're going to turn this into a turkey noodle soup. Now, if you want to see the video of us making this turkey noodle soup, I'll leave a link right here in the corner, plus in the description below. So this is a quart-sized jar of turkey and vegetables. I'm going to add another pint-sized jar of chicken broth. Plus a pint of water. I'm going to put this on the stove with the lid. Let it start heating up and boiling. And then we're going to add 1 cup of macaroni pasta. I do have an Azure order coming sometime this week or next week. And I have some really good quality pepper jack cheese coming. But at the moment, I'm just using a Food Lion brand. And I'm just going to cut this into 1/8-inch slices. Just enough where it will cover a slice of bread. Whatever we don't use for dinner tonight, put it back in this Ziploc bag and put it in the refrigerator. I'm letting the soup heat it up, and then we're going to add the pasta. We're going to let that cook anywhere between 8 and 12 minutes, according to the package. So we still have a few minutes before we need to worry about our grilled cheese sandwich. So I'll bring you right back when we're ready to add that pasta. Okay, the soup has come up to a boil. I'm going to turn the heat down to a medium-low. I do want to taste the broth to make sure it's pretty good on seasoning and we don't have to add any salt or pepper. Okay, we need to add some salt and a little bit of pepper. And now I'm going to add 1 cup of macaroni. And I'm just going to let the macaroni cook in this broth. And the vegetables are the frozen vegetables of corn, carrots, green beans. I think there's peas in there, peas. So it's just a bag of frozen mixed vegetables. All right, let that do its thing. Let's work on the grilled cheese. So I'm just using store-bought bread. I need to make some yeast bread so we can have regular bread for sandwiches. Maybe I'll do that this weekend. And I have some butter. Just going to smear it on this cutting board just to soften it a bit. Because I just took this out of the refrigerator. I just want to soften it just a bit so when I spread it on my bread, it's not going to rip my bread up. That should be good. So I have 4 slices of bread. Make 2 sandwiches, one for the husband and one for myself. So I have the griddle on 2 burners. Both of them are on medium to medium-low heat. I'm going to let that heat up. Stir our soup just a bit. I'm going to put a little bit of butter on my griddle. This is a cast iron griddle. So I'm going to put butter side down. Put cheese slices. Looks like it's going to take 3 per sandwich. Just make a sandwich. And we're just going to cook it until it turns nice and golden brown. Still keeping an eye on the soup. I'm going to put this pasta lid from this pot on top, holding the heat so it can melt that cheese. We have just a few more minutes on the pasta to cook. Probably about 2 more minutes. And dinner is ready. I love cooking from scratch. I love taking ingredients and making a delicious meal. But sometimes you just want food and not ingredients. So having this already homemade soup casserole starter on my pantry shelf, and all I have to do is heat it up and add some pasta, makes getting dinner on the table fast and efficient. And it's still homemade. It's still made by scratch. It was just made a while back. We're eating it today. Oh, family, that is so good. I think it does need just a little bit more salt and pepper. And our ooey gooey pepper jack grilled cheese. That hits the spot. So we might have enough soup for lunch tomorrow. We'll just make a couple more grilled cheese sandwiches to go with it. Plus, we have our canned chicken that we can make a chicken salad if we want. So that's what we're having for dinner tonight and lunch tomorrow. I'll see you the next time we get in the kitchen and make another delicious meal. So the second meal we cooked this week is actually Thanksgiving. I made this video to show how you can feed 2 to 4 people a delicious Thanksgiving dinner with leftovers. Please make sure you hit that notification bell so you'll know when this video comes out. This will probably feed the husband and I for 2, maybe 3 days. So we probably have at least one more meal we have to cook this week. But I cannot wait to share this video with you. So the last meal we're going to make this week is going to be fettuccine Alfredo with chicken. I took a pack of our home cut up frozen chicken drumsticks. There are 4 in this package. I do want to get them boiled in some water. So we'll drop in the drumsticks and some water. Just enough to cover the chicken drumsticks. I'm going to put this on the stove. And I'm just going to let that cook while we make the pasta. Now, most of the time, this is where I invite you into my kitchen when we're making pasta. It's right here. But I decided to bring you along while we made the pasta. I asked for it from my husband, and he was gracious enough to get it for me. It's a pasta machine that does different size pasta. It's a Philips 7000, and I do need to change my pasta shape. This is an egg noodle pasta shape. And we have the fettuccine right there. Perfect. Now, if your family eats a lot of pasta and you don't mind the extra time it takes to make homemade pasta, it will actually save you money. This machine will actually pay for itself after about a year of making homemade pasta. So it comes with its own measuring cup. We're going to add 2 of their cups of flour, a good pinch of salt, maybe a half a teaspoon, 1 egg, a little bit of olive oil, maybe a teaspoon. Oop, I need to fill my olive oil up. And enough water to bring it up to that 2-cup flour liquid measurement. put the lid on. Let's whisk our egg and our water and the olive oil together. Perfect. We're done with this. So power on, and we're going to pour in our liquid right here on the top. It's going to turn for 3 minutes, get everything mixed together, and then it's going to stop and reverse, and then the pasta will be coming out of here. So now it's going to start extruding out of this face. First 4 to 6 inches I don't use. I'll just throw that back in there eventually. But after that first 4 to 6 inches, that's when our pasta starts. It's always so, I don't know, just not a fan of the way it looks. Right now our pasta's beginning. Still on the choppy side, but that's okay. We'll pause it, open the lid, throw this back in, and continue. You can make it as short or as long as you like. I'm going to make mine about maybe 6 inches. It's coming very close to the end, so it's actually going to stop, reverse, and then it'll go back. That way it picks up everything that's along the walls or the bottom. So you're not really wasting a lot of flour or ingredients. I usually put 2 eggs in my dough, but this time I only did 1 because I want a more traditional pasta without actually using semolina pasta, which I really need to get. All right, we're going to call it. So I'm going to leave the pasta sitting on this island just for about 15, 20, about 30 minutes. I want it to dry out a bit. I don't want dry pasta, but cooking wet or fresh pasta, it can have a tendency of falling apart. So I just let it dry for about anywhere between 15 and 30 minutes, depending on how much time I have. Still waiting on the chicken drumsticks to cook so we can get that shredded up. By then, it'll be time to start working on the pasta and the Alfredo sauce. So our chicken drumsticks are done. We just boiled it in some water, no salt, no pepper, just plain old water because we're going to season our sauce. And as for this broth, I'm just going to let that cool off. I'll put it in a quart-size Ziploc bag, stick it in the freezer, and that's free food. I have the pasta pot on the stove with some water, letting that come up to a boil. We'll start cooking our pasta. As soon as we can handle this chicken, we're going to go ahead and debone and deskin and chop up this chicken for our sauce. I have a pint of heavy cream. I took out of the freezer last night, stuck it in the refrigerator. Somewhere around here, oh there it is. I got a pack of Parmesan cheese. I need to do a freezer inventory pretty soon. I have an Azure order coming this week. Yes. And I have a lot of cheese coming, so I need to make sure we get in our freezer and figure out what cheese we already have. And that when we get our new cheese and we get it all processed, grated, sliced, whatever we're going to do with it, we know what to use first from our freezer and what we need to use second from the Azure order. So I'm just waiting for this water to come to a boil. So I can add salt, go ahead and cook the pasta and the chicken to cool off to take it off the bones, and we can get started on that sauce. Now when it comes to cleaning the pasta shape attachment, sometimes it's easier just to let it sit here and let it dry out completely, and they come out easier, and then you can wash it. All the rest of the parts have been washed. They're in the strainer. I just need those to dry so I can put the machine back together and put it away. So this we'll just have to deal with in a bit. I want it to dry completely so the flour bits will come off. Let's start on this chicken. Now I told you when we were cutting up this chicken, the chicken legs are not my, or the drumsticks, are not my favorite part of the chicken. I'd rather use it in a casserole or a soup than to eat it as a chicken leg. Not my favorite. So when we get our whole chickens on sale and we decide we want to make our own homemade boneless, skinless chicken thighs and chicken breast, unfortunately, this is a byproduct of doing that stuff by yourself at home, but that's okay. We can always use it in something. So I'm taking the skin off, and there's a tendon right here on the leg. I do want to remove that, not my favorite part. Okay. And the bones I'm going to stick in this bag. We can save that to make chicken stock. And this is only 4 pieces of chicken drumsticks, which I think it's going to be enough for a fettuccine Alfredo. So that's how much meat we ended up with. Just going to break them up into smaller pieces. Oop, that one still has a tendon on it. Throw away the skin and the tendons. So from those 4 pieces of chicken drumsticks, we're going to have dinner. We have the bones, so we can save this for chicken broth. Plus we have a little bit more than a cup of chicken broth that I'm going to put in the freezer. Still waiting for the water to come up to a boil, then we can drop in our pasta. And then once that's done, we can go ahead and start on the Alfredo sauce. Our water has come up to a boil. I'm going to go ahead and add a good pinch of salt. You want to add salt to your water when you're cooking pasta, especially dry pasta, because that's where you season your pasta before you add your sauce. Give that a little stir. Perfect. Let's start dropping in the pasta. Now we do want to give it a slight stir, not vigorously. We don't want to break up that pasta, but we want to make sure that they're not sticking together. Now once this comes back to a boil, we're going to cook it for about 3 to 4 minutes. Fresh pasta actually cooks a lot faster than dry pasta because we're not trying to hydrate the pasta and cook it. We just need to cook the pasta. So it takes actually 3 to 4 minutes to cook fresh pasta versus 10-12 minutes for dry pasta. And then we'll strain it and we'll fill that sauce. Alright, I think the pasta is done. I'm going to turn it off. Put this in the strainer in the sink. So a tablespoon of butter. A tablespoon of olive oil. Some salt. Pepper. A teaspoon of garlic powder, and 2 teaspoons of Italian dressing mix. It's good with the Italian seasoning, but the Italian dressing has extra herbs and flavoring. Start smelling the aroma of those seasonings. Let's go ahead and add a pint of heavy cream. Now we're going to let that heat up before we add our Parmesan cheese. Now we don't want the heavy cream to come to a boil. We just want to see a little bit of bubbling action, like we can see right there. All right, I'm going to turn the temperature down just a bit. And I have 1 cup of grated Parmesan cheese. Get that mixed in. I'm just going to cook it just enough to melt that cheese. This is the perfect time to taste it to see if it needs any more seasoning. It doesn't need anything, family. Now we're going to add our cooked chicken. I'm going to go ahead and turn the burner off. And now we can add our pasta. I think I like the 2-egg pasta better than the 1-egg pasta. But it's all about the flavor. Give it a slight toss. And dinner is ready. Now all the recipes to everything we ate this week will be in the description below, except the Thanksgiving dinner. That video is going to come out next month. I hope you hit that notification bell so you're notified when that video comes out. But everything else will be in the description below. The husband had some errands he had to run, so he's not home yet. He did let me know he's on the way home. So we're only going to have a little sample before you leave so we can make sure this is good. Now, when I make my pasta in the pasta machine, I usually do 2 eggs, a little bit of water, olive oil, salt, and the 2 cups of flour. But this time I did it with 1 egg just to see if there was a difference. I can see the difference. It's not as yellow. Let's see if we can taste the difference. I think I like the 2 egg one better. If you have a Philips 7000 or any pasta machine, if you want to share your recipe, please leave it in the comments below. So maybe I want to do flavored pasta, like tomato or like sun-dried tomatoes. Oh, it's my favorite. Or spinach. That would be interesting. We need to do that in the future. So as soon as the husband comes home, we're going to sit down and have dinner. I just want to say thank you very much for hanging out this week while we made 2 dinners. And I gave you a sneak peek on a 3rd dinner that we actually ate on 3 days. Yeah, that's it. Just 2 dinners plus the Thanksgiving. So if you don't mind, give this video a thumbs up. While you're at it, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you part of the Grammy family. In this kitchen, we take real ingredients and make a real healthy, nutrient-dense meal to feed our families so we're able to do the things we need to do every day, day in and day out. So until next time, you have a blessed day. Bye, family.